Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to Saturday in Office. So last week we celebrated Nityanand Triyodashi. This week we are celebrating Flower Festival. So see, every week we are celebrating festivals. So next week also we are celebrating. So that's special. So I'll give an overview of the program. So what we are going to do. So we had a wonderful kirtan. We'll have a wonderful class. So since today we are celebrating the flower festival, so we'll discuss what is the importance of flower festival. What is flower festival? We understand there is a flower. We can see a wonderful decoration and the festival. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Anand.
Okay, he's in my team. So this is a flower festival. So probably we discuss. So today's topic is Krishna is hungry only for our love. So how we can develop the love, how we can reciprocate with Krishna. Okay, we can see the beautiful deities, Shri Radha Kalachandji. There's a wonderful deity, wonderful decoration. So we'll discuss the devotees who participated in the decoration and what we did, how we did, and how you can, participate in future events. So let's get back to the topic. So I'll introduce Yashoda Dugal Prabhu. The today's speaker is his name is Yashoda Dugal Prabhu. So I'll give a small introduction. So Prabhuji joined ISKCON in 90s time, and he is a disciple of His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj since 1999, and he serves on the board of directors at Bhakti Center. And professionally, Prabhuji is the chief financial officer of an insurance company based in Carmel, Indiana. And Prabhuji is chartered accountant from India, and he holds the MBA degree from Columbia University. So Prabhuji will discuss about the significance of Flower Festival. So we'll have a short discourse around 6:30, just 30 minutes, and then we'll have a Pushpa Abhishek. So we'll form a queue and we'll go one by one. So we'll discuss how it's going to be. So after Pushpa Abhishek, we'll have a Aarti and then Prasad. Sounds good? Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
classes with Jagada Madhav. So we'll do very brief because we want to get to the festival, but before that, let's purify our hearts and call out with as much love as we can muster, because as you can see from this beautiful deities there, Krishna is hungry only for our love. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Kunja Bihari
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari.
Gopi Janavallabha Giridharadhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridharadhari.
Gopi Janavallabha Giridharadhari
Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Giridharadhari.
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana
Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana
Yashodanandana
Yamuna Tira Vanachari
Yamuna Tira Vanachari.
Yamuna Tira Vanachari We'll start with the invocation prayers. If you're able to see the television, that's fantastic. If you're not, maybe you can shift, because I'll show some verses and things and some pictures, so it might be interesting for you to look at them. We'll first start with the invocation that we do before we do any Krishna Katha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 You can chant with me if you know a part. If you don't, you can read the prayers on screen. Om Ajnanatirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Marutisam Savitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Ramayam Dadati Sapadamikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sahajatam Sahajana Raghunatham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vichakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jalapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Tapta Kanchana Gaurani Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishnu Sute Pranamami Namaste Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauravishe Namaha Vanchakalpatarupesya Kripa Sindhubhyeva Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane. I offer my respectful obeisances unto His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is very dear to Lord Shri Krishna, having taken shelter at His lotus feet. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Ashtakadeshakarine. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual master, servant of Saraswati Goswami. You are kindly preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Dev and delivering Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum dangayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Deenataranam. This last prayer is an invocation to the gurus, the parampara that's come before us, or if we have a specific guru, we pray that Mukam karoti vachalam, by the grace of Guru, even the dumb can speak eloquently and the lame can cross mountains. So with permission to my own Guru and Pushpa Prabhupada, we'll begin the class today. We'll start with a little bit of philosophy and maybe we can keep the door closed. We'll begin with a little bit of philosophy and then we'll have a few pastimes, because we all like to hear about Krishna's pastimes, right? Alright, so this picture is of Radha Gopinath in ISKCON Chowpatty. They hold 2 flower festivals in January, which are mega flower festivals, and they get 500 kilos or something of flowers offered to them. So we'll have a little less than that today, right? Not
And it's very
slightly less.
difficult to pick them out. All.
Yeah. Now they spend a couple of days and there's hundreds of people who do it as a seva. So Bhagavad Gita 9.26, Lord Shri Krishna tells Arjuna, you can chant together, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachati Tatham Bhakti Upaharitam Ashnami Prayata. What does that mean? Krishna says, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Right? And if you notice, the word bhakti is highlighted twice in this verse. He says twice about bhakti. He doesn't say jnana, yoga, any other meditation, anything. He says bhakti, which Srila Prabhupada translated as not just the feeling of love, because I can have a very vague feeling of love towards someone, say, Pandit Srivas Prabhu, who I actually love like a brother. I can feel love to him, but if I don't do anything for him, it's nice, better than enmity, but it's actually not very useful, right? Love means you have to serve. Those of you who have children, for example, or who are, who have partners, you know that to love means to serve, right? And you serve because of that love, right? So Krishna is saying, if one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, fruit, or water, I will accept it. So we'll unpack. There's a nice long purport that Srila Prabhupada gave, but we'll unpack it. I'm not going to go through the entire purport, but I selected some points from that. Right? For the intelligent person, it is essential to be in Krishna consciousness. That is, engaged in transcendental, loving service to Krishna. Why? In order to achieve a permanent, blissful abode. We all know everything in this world is teetering and tottering, right? Every time we feel something is stable, something else becomes unstable, right? If our job situation is great, suddenly maybe our boss changes. Or as happened to me last week, one of my star employees quit because he got a job elsewhere. And so there's always the feeling that there is instability. Now, it's not like every second there is instability, but the moment we start feeling comfortable, there is instability. And Krishna tells us in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita that this place, this material world, is Dukhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukhalayam. We talk place of study, right? Is knowledge. So it's a place where you get knowledge. So Dukha is a place of misery, right? And Ashashvatam, it's temporary, it's unstable. So Prabhupada is pointing out that in this purport, Krishna is telling us the way to be eternally and permanently happy and to achieve that permanent blissful abode, which is the spiritual world, we have to be engaged in loving service to Krishna, right? The only qualification required is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. And we're going to unpack this at a later stage in the discussion. But for now, I'm going to just touch on one hint for that slide. The purity that is being talked about is purity of bhakti, of the loving service, not purity of the bhakti practitioner. And that's a very key distinction that we are going to unpack at a later stage. Bhakti is mentioned twice in the verse that we read from Bhagavad Gita. I was born a pious Hindu. My parents were pious, and like many of us, right, grew up in a really nice family, but it was always unsatisfying because it always felt like I'm praying to some demigod, or even if I'm praying to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, I'm praying for something, right? And it didn't feel very satisfying because, think about a close relationship if you only do it for the purpose of getting something from that person, how satisfying is that? As opposed to if you're doing something to serve someone with love. But you know what is the beauty of bhakti? There's an exchange. And that's what attracted me to Srila Prabhupada's tradition and this bhakti tradition that Srila Prabhupada has brought to us. That it made total sense and it was felt very satisfying that every other tradition in the world has been clouded over. There's pure bhakti preached in every religion, in Christianity, in Islam, in Judaism, Sikhism, Hinduism. But the practice of these religions is mostly, please give me something, let me appease the supreme deity, otherwise God knows what will happen. He might get angry and my life will be screwed, right? So that's not very satisfying. And what bhakti does is, it is reciprocal. When we take 10 steps, Prabhupada told us, towards Krishna, Krishna takes 100 steps towards us. And it's amazing, like you can feel Krishna's presence in every aspect of your life, the more you try to become aware of his presence. And you literally see it in everything, like little things, big things, and you're like, oh yeah, that's Krishna. Even the obstacles that happen, you're like, wow, Krishna, you're stopping me from something else. Maybe I don't see it right now, it feels bad, but I know you're doing it for my benefit. And there's an exchange, because Krishna is in the heart. Krishna describes in Bhagavad Gita that he's present as super soul in our heart, or Paramatma. We can talk to him all the time. As a little baby, I used to ask my mother, not baby, 5-year-old, I used to ask my mother, she used to make me sing like a lot of prayers, morning and evening. And I would say, well, I'm praying like this, but we are sitting here in Gujarat, in India, and God is probably like trillions of miles away. So how does he hear our prayers, right? And the answer is that he's in our heart. So he knows everything we are feeling, we are offering. So it actually is, he's our intimate best friend. So we don't need to ever feel like, oh my God, I'm alone, because I'm not. I have Krishna in my heart, and you have Krishna in your heart, right? Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more. There was a great question that a young boy asked. I still remember this. This was 2001 at 26 2nd Avenue, which is one of the communities that I grew up in my Krishna consciousness in New York. He asked a visiting Swami, he says, and he was a convinced devotee, so he wasn't asking, in a challenging way. But he said, it feels very selfish of Krishna to say, serve me, like only serve me, don't pay attention to anyone else, like just offer service to me. Isn't that selfish of Krishna? What do you all think? Yeah, doesn't it on the surface feel like that? Yeah, but it's actually not selfish for Krishna. You know why? Because Krishna is described as Atmaram. Atmaram means self-satisfied. If we did nothing, and there are trillions of living entities that do not willingly offer service to Krishna, but Krishna still provides for them, right? There's food, there is water, there is wind, right? There's air to breathe. He's not a vindictive God that says, oh my God, he didn't turn to me. Okay, lightning is going to come and strike him dead tomorrow, right? He still takes care of them. They do have, to suffer their karmic reactions of good and bad, because the material world is set up in such a way that for every action we take, there is a reaction, right? And so whether it's good or bad. But Krishna wants this service not because he is selfish, but actually because he wants to give us the highest happiness. And the proof of this can be found by the fact that when you think of God, he's omnipotent, he's all powerful, he's all attractive, he's all opulent, right? And you think he needs nothing. But did you know that God actually lacks something? Yeah, what might that be?
Our love.
Yeah. Or more accurately, he doesn't know what it is like to serve himself. Because he's God. He sits on his throne in Vaikuntha, and everyone's offering prayers to him. And everyone is Jai, Jai, Jai. And he's like, why are my devotees happier than I am? I'm happy because I'm happy in myself. I'm happy to receive their love. But they look to be much happier. And his topmost devotee is Srimati Radharani, who's standing on the altar, right? And Krishna looks at her and says, I do not understand what about me makes Radha so happy, and what is it in me that she finds so attractive that her love is constantly increasing. And so Krishna has to come as his own devotee. And he does so in Kali Yuga as Lord Chaitanya, simply in order to taste what it is like to be a devotee. That is the position of a devotee. So, when we look around, sometimes devotees make us testy or angry sometimes because maybe they said they'll come at 4 o'clock to decorate and they show up at 6:30 for prasad. No decorations, or they promise they'll come and lead kirtan at 5 o'clock and oh Prabhu, I forgot I have to lead kirtan. It's 5:30 and I'm not here. I'm like 1 hour away from you, right? So sometimes it makes us angry, but devotees are so special that Krishna himself comes as his own devotee in order to taste that sweetness of love. So when Krishna says, I want only your loving service, he's not being selfish. He's actually being munificent or merciful because we are created in that way. For example, if I try to use this mouse, right, which I use to, move my, cursor around. If I try to use this mouse as a hammer, right, or as a nutcracker, do you think it'll work? It'll crack in like 10 seconds. Yeah. Or if I try to eat it, right? Or if I feed it to a cat because it's a mouse, right? You think it'll work? No. Why? Because the mouse is designed for a specific purpose. Similarly, we are designed simply to offer love to Krishna. And the proof of that is every single living entity is looking for pleasure and happiness, right? And we look in all the places in the material world, top to bottom, and we never seem to find it. We get pleasure, but it goes. And sometimes we're happy, and most times we're unhappy, right? And that's because the pleasure of love, of service, is the highest pleasure that exists. That's how we are designed. So when we try to look for happiness in power, in sex, in trying to dominate others, control, right? It never satisfied. The latest Mercedes-Benz or Beamer or Tesla or iPhone, nothing satisfies us longer than a few days, right? Because we are designed to love, and that love is designed for Krishna. And then it's not a one-sided transaction. Krishna reciprocates with his love, right? Prabhupada says to develop Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life. And Krishna himself tells us, and Prabhupada tells us in the purport, he's the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings. So we offer him what he likes, what he says to offer. For example, I don't like lasagna. If someone offers me lasagna, I won't be happy, right? No matter how much lasagna you feed me, I will be unhappy, right? So similarly, you feed to Krishna what he says not to offer or what's not mentioned explicitly, it won't make him happy, right? So we don't offer him meat and eggs and fish and all those kind of things, right? So we offer him what he likes, and one of them is a flower, right? So I want to read this. This is a very powerful purport. In same purport, 926, Bhagavad Gita 3.13, Shri Krishna explains only the remains of sacrifice, that is offering made with love, are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of the material entanglement, right? Those who do not make an offering of their food, this is Krishna, he says in the same verse, are eating only sin. And what is sin? In other words, every mouthful is simply deepening our involvement in the complexities of material nature. Everything we do in this world is tinged with karma, whether we like it or not, right? We work in jobs. I know Aparna works in a financial firm. I work in a financial firm. Many of the things done by the firm are not exactly prescribed activities of bhakti, right? I used to work at American Express. Those cards are used for buying all kinds of things, right? So how do you escape that karma? Every single thing has karma. And Krishna tells us it's by the simple process of making the food with love, not tasting it before you offer it, and offering it. It takes 5 to 10 extra minutes to do that. And then we honor that prasad, and that prasad purifies us. Have you ever seen people when they come to the temple and they have prasad, they're like, I have palak paneer at home, but it never tastes like this because it's not offered. Krishna can eat with his, and this purport Prabhupada says, Krishna can eat with his ears. We are offering prayers, offering the food through mantras. He can eat with his ears. All his senses can do the job of all other senses, right? So that's what he's telling us. Simple thing, offer food, offer flowers. Preparing nice, simple vegetable dishes offering them before the picture or deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering enable one to advance steadily in life, to purify our body, and to create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. Right? That's why we offer food and honor prasad. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food since he already possesses everything, and yet he will accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering anything is to act with love for Krishna. Right? So I want to tell you, so there's a story of a saint and his disciple, his assistant, who were traveling all over the countryside because it's the nature of monks, renounced monks, sannyasis, to travel, not be in one place. And when they go, they stay at householders' homes, not because they want to eat rich food, but because they want to purify the people that they go and visit and stay with. Right? That's the purpose. So they, the saint and his disciple, they came to the house of a rich man in town. And they stayed. He said, please come. He saw them in the marketplace, please come and stay with us. And they went and, they accepted food at his place. He prepared nicely. The problem was that this man made his living as a thief. And he prepared the food and he offered to the saint and his disciple. And as they were leaving the house, suddenly in the mind of this very pure devotee came a desire to steal the silver little bowl that was kept in front of him. And when no one was looking, he put it inside his chola, his little cloth bag. And his assistant saw it and he was shocked. He says, my Guru Maharaj is so pure, what's happened to him? But he kept quiet. So they traveled on and, they left behind some food, at which the rich man and his family, took as remnants, as prasad. That night, when they were traveling, after traveling, they fell asleep. And the next morning, they got up, they did their ablutions, they chanted japa. And then the saint, he said, I have a confession to make. I stole this silver lota yesterday from this place that we were staying at. And he told his disciple, and his disciple said, Guru Maharaj, I saw you do that. You are so pure. You don't covet anything in this world. Why did you do it? He said, because I ate food at this man's place, and this man must be a thief, because my mind became infused with a desire to steal. Right? So he says, please go back and give this lota back to the rich man and say that, I made a mistake, I committed a sin, an offense. So the disciple, of course, to protect his guru, he went back and he said, my Guru Maharaj mistakenly picked up this lota yesterday, but I'm back to return it. And the rich man said, no, please keep it. In fact, I can give you money and more lotas or whatever, more silver stuff. And the disciple said, wow, what happened? And he says, well, my family and I, we ate the remnants of your guru's prasad yesterday. And we actually ate what he had left on his plate as prasad. And it purified us. And I'm horrified to tell you that I'm actually a thief. That's what I've been doing all these years. That's how I have this big house and everything. And so he said, from this day on, I'm going to do an honest job, even if it means working as a laborer, but I'm going to stop stealing. And so this tells you that man and his family, the power of the saint's remnants, the prasad, it purified just a little, purified this person. But the saint, and he got this feeling of wanting to steal simply by eating food prepared by a thief. So food actually is very subtle, it carries consciousness, right? Which is why we offer. So that our consciousness is purified when we are making that offering. And when we pray, we can also, there are certain prayers. If you don't know the prayers, you can learn them. But if you don't even want to say the prayers, you simply with your heart say, Krishna, I prepared this food for you. Can you please accept it? I don't have much love or purity, but I want to have, right? And please accept it. Leave it in front of the picture or deity of Krishna for 5 minutes. Take it off and then honor that prasad. It'll start to make a change in our life, right? Then this story probably everyone here knows. Duryodhan and Vidura's wife separately offered food to Krishna, right? What did Duryodhan offer? If you look at this, you'll get hungry. If you look at this picture, right? He offered not just chappan bhog, he offered like hundreds of preparations because he thought Krishna is, some kind of mystical guy. Let me make a political alliance with him because he can help me, in my political aims. And Krishna knew there was no love there. There was no desire to please or to offer service. Krishna went straight to Vidura's house. But Vidura was out, and his wife wasn't expecting Krishna to show up. Not at that moment. And he said, Vidurani, I'm hungry. Please feed me. And she got so excited because she was so full of love for Krishna. She started peeling. She only had bananas. Nothing was ready. She started peeling, bananas to offer to Krishna. But she threw away the actual banana and offered him the peels. And Krishna ate the peels. And it was only when Vidura came in, and you see Vidura in the back, and he's like horrified. He says, hey, you woman, what are you doing? This is the Supreme Lord, offering you banana peels? And Krishna was fully satisfied with the peels because he was not eating the peels, he was tasting the love. Right? So there's a story in Chaitanya Leela, a devotee called Shuklambar Brahmachari. The scriptures tell us that in a past life, he was one of the Yajna Patnis, who the Brahmanas' wives, when Krishna and Balaram begged food from the Brahmanas who were doing all kinds of ritualistic sacrifices, they failed to recognize that the Supreme Lord is asking me, the purpose of these rituals is to satisfy the Supreme Lord, and they drove the little boys away and said, get out of here. We are not going to give you any food. And then Krishna sent the coward boys to ask the Yajna Patnis, the wives of the Brahmanas, and said, go ask, because women generally have softer hearts than men. Men are very proud of their position and their, strong body they feel. And basically it's like being a fool. But the women have, especially women who have taken to bhakti, they have a lot of sweetness and devotion in their heart. So these Yajna Patnis, they were like, oh my God, Krishna and Balaram wanted every single preparation that was made in that household, they gave it to the coward boys to offer to Krishna. And then they went personally to see Krishna and Balaram. And their husbands tried to stop them and said, if you go now or if you get this food, then never bother to come back. And they said, that's okay. We'll go back and we'll live in the forest. We'll starve to death, but this is our opportunity to serve Krishna. Right? And so one of the Yajna Patnis came in Chaitanya Leela 500 something years ago as Shuklambar Brahmachari. And he was a poor brahmachari. He would go door to door. He had a rule, 10 houses he would go to and he would beg for boga from them. And then whatever he got, and usually people, when someone begs at the door, in India there's a custom, right? These beggars come and most people don't recognize a great devotee when he or she shows up, right? And so they would give them like rotting rice or like chipped rice and whatever. And then Shuklambar would cook it and he would offer it to Krishna with great tears of love in his eyes. And Mahaprabhu knew that Shuklambar is so loving and so devoted. Mahaprabhu would come every single day to eat that rice. The Supreme Lord who served in Jagannath Puri with 56 preps, how many times a day? He served except for 2 hours a day, he served 22 hours a day with opulent food. He was eating rotting or broken rice at the house of Shuklambar Brahmachari because he was offering it with so much love. Right? And then Mahaprabhu actually stole some of the rice. Like sometime in Kirtan, Shuklambar would be lost in ecstasy and he would have his begging bag hanging from his shoulder. And then Mahaprabhu would come and grab and eat the rice raw. Who eats raw rice? Of course, Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord, acting as his own devotee, so he can eat. And he would finish the whole bag. And some Shastras say, or some commentators say that Shuklambar was Sudama in Krishna Lila, right? Or he could be a combination of Sudama and the Yajna Patnis. And as Sudama, you remember the story where Krishna took one mouthful from that bag of chipped rice, pohas, and then Rukmini, the goddess of fortune, stopped him. And she said, no, wait. Simply with this one offering, I'm obliged to this poor Brahmana. If you eat the whole bag, I'll have to personally go and live at his house and serve him. Right? So she stopped him. But in Chaitanya Leela, there was no one to stop Mahaprabhu. So Mahaprabhu would eat the entire bag of chipped rice raw from Shuklambar Brahmachari because he was tasting that love. And then Sanatana Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis, is on the altar here, right? We worship. Sanatana Goswami had Madan Mohan, Hare Krishna. He had Madan Mohan or Krishna that he would, the worship, deity of Madan Mohan that he would worship. But Sanatan was a very poor sannyasi, and he would go door to door. He didn't have a residence. He would sleep under a tree, right? And he couldn't offer whatever he got. He would offer. He didn't even have salt, so he would offer bare rotis, braja rotis, to Madan Mohan. And one day the deity spoke to him and he said, "Arey Baba, at least put some salt in that roti. It's so tasteless." And Sanatan chastised him. He said, you see, I've been ordered by Lord Chaitanya to write books about your pastimes, maybe Krishna's pastimes, about your pastimes, and I'm busy going door to door, spreading, excavating the lost holy places. That's what Mahaprabhu asked me to do. And here you are asking for salt. Tomorrow you'll ask for ghee. Then you'll ask for sabji. Then you might ask for dal and sweets. Where am I going to do? He said, I don't have the time to do all this. I have my service. And Krishna is like, okay, I'll eat the tasteless rotis, because Sanatan was doing it with so much love. And then, of course, there is a story we won't go into for time, where a rich merchant, he was going up the Yamuna with his ship full of expensive goods. It got stuck on a sandbar, and he came to Sanatan to pray, please, help me, Baba, bless my ship so it can get free. And Sanatan said, I am just a poor renunciant. Pray to Madan Mohan, he's the controller of the world, right? And so he prayed to Madan Mohan. Miraculously, rain came, the ship became free, and this merchant, he sold all his goods in Mathura, and he said, because of this blessing, I'm going to come back and do something for your Madan Mohan and for you. And he came back, and Sanatan engaged him not in his service because he wanted to give him all kinds of money and jewels, but Sanatan said, build a temple for my Madan Mohan. And then we will establish nice worship and offer him proper bhoga, not my tasteless, saltless chapatis, every day, right? So that's how Sanatan reciprocated. These are loving exchanges. When we hear of these stories, it's not just, yes, these are very exalted souls. We are not in that position. These give us a beacon of light. On a dark night, you see the light and you say, where I want to go, right? And these stories, they illustrate how the relationship with Krishna is very rich and very satisfying and fulfilling for the heart. And that's what we want to do, right? So now we'll come to Pushpa Abhishek, right? Which is what we're going to do today. Pushpa Abhishek, flower Abhishek, Pushpa Abhishek. The Skanda Purana says on an Ashtami during Vaishak month, in conjunction with the Pushpa Nakshatra, which is, the constellation of stars, Lord Jagannath was installed in Puri long ago, millions of years ago, right? And on this day, he is worshipped as the King of Kings on Pushpa Abhishek Day. So you can see he's dressed very opulently, and Jagannath is Lord of the universe, and it's reaffirming on this day that he's the King of Kings. Srila Prabhupada said something about the flower festival, and who are these deities? Anyone?
Radha Kalachandji.
Radha Kalachandji from Dallas, and we have Radha Kalachandji right here, right? So Dallas Temple also does flower festivals. Many temples across the world actually do flower festivals. So Srila Prabhupada said about the flower festival, Krishna was just a toy in the hands of the gopis. So one day the gopis decided that they should decorate it. Pushpa Abhishek means a ceremony to decorate the deity profusely with flowers, ornaments, and clothes. Look at Radha Gopinath. If you come closer later during the kirtan, maybe or after, please come and take these gorgeous deities, Pandit Srivas Prabhu's personal deities. You'll be mesmerized by how beautiful they are. And so, Krishna, the Supreme Lord, in every tradition, including Hinduism, God is the supreme, right? You don't dare to talk like Sanatana Goswami talked to him. Or, you never hear of Krishna is a toy in the hands of his devotees. But these devotees are not ordinary devotees. Lord Chaitanya told us that the gopis are actually the topmost devotees because they abandon everything, literally everything. All of us, we have household and job and things, and it's natural we want to maintain ourselves. The world is not going to feed us, right, if we just say, okay, I'm going to chant Hare Krishna every day. Krishna might feed you if your purities of purpose is there, but most of us, we're not there yet. So we have to do something for our jobs, families, etc. Nothing wrong with that. But the gopis, they were totally unconcerned about their own safety, their maintenance, their own relationships. They abandoned everything to do with Krishna. And Krishna in return gave himself fully to them. That's why he's described as being a toy in the hands of the gopis. The gopis could do anything they wanted with Krishna. Sometimes it's described that, Krishna, the Lalita wanted one of the closest Sakhis of Radharani. She stole a flute, and then Krishna came looking for his flute. He says, "Where is my flute?" And he said, "I know the gopis must have stolen it, because the cowherd boys are his friends. They don't steal his stuff, right? The gopis, they are his lovers, and they steal his stuff, right?" And so he came searching, and Lalita treated him very roughly externally. It's obviously, she's on the highest situation of love, so we can't imitate, and we should not be rough in our dealings with Krishna. We should be loving and sweet and submissive. But she made Krishna do all kinds of things, including bow down at Radharani's lotus feet. She said, "Offer your head at Radharani's feet before we can give you the flute." They tied him up, and they did all kinds of things. But why? Why would Krishna allow himself, right? Think about a situation in your life with whom it might be your parent, it might be your partner, with whom you are completely trusting and intimate, right? So if, for example, right, I see little kids here, many of you are parents. When you throw when your child was a baby, you throw your baby up in the air. Is the intent to throw the baby up and make him or her fall down and crash to his death? No. The intent is, it gives pleasure to the baby, it gives pleasure to the parents, and you catch it, and the baby's like, "Ah," and then you do it again, and "Ah," right? And so the baby is implicitly trusting you because there is intimacy, right? There is love, and there's full trust. So similarly, the more loving we are, the more pure we are in our intent and in our actions towards Krishna, the more we'll feel this reciprocation from Krishna. Because bhakti is always a two-way street. It's never just one way. Krishna is not selfish. And we just have to try this. We take one step at a time. We don't jump into the swimming pool, into the 15 feet depth pool, right? We walk in through the steps, and it's, to our waist, and then we go deeper, and then we learn swimming, and right? So bhakti is like that. We can take it one step at a time, one commitment at a time. And we try and motivate. Like, I remember when I started in bhakti maybe 25 years ago, I used to think my life is here and my bhakti is here, right? Until I realized my bhakti is my life and my job is a part of my life, right? My relationships with people are a part of that bhakti life, right? But bhakti is my life. It's not a part of my life, it's my life. And then starting to go step by step deeper, we show that commitment through serving Krishna. That's what Krishna says. Those who serve my devotees are more dear to me than those who try to directly serve me, right? And we try to, chant every day, take a commitment, even if it's one round a day, right? Chant. If you want to take initiation, it's 16 rounds a day, right? Certain kind of lifestyle conducive for this. But the point is, we take steps, and as Prabhupada promises us, Krishna takes 10 times the steps towards us, right? So today we're going to decorate the deity with an offering of flowers, right? And I want to talk about purity of bhakti. Remember in the beginning I said, it's not the purity of the practice, it's the purity of not the purity of the practitioner, but the purity of the offering, right? So Sachidananda Maharaj wrote this essay. I read this like 15 years ago. I find it extremely inspiring. And from that, I'm going to adopt these statements, or cull these statements. The perfection of life is to develop pure bhakti for Krishna. We talked about that. When the elevated teachers speak of unalloyed bhakti, meaning Shuddha bhakti, pure bhakti, they refer to the purity of bhakti, not to the purity of the performer of bhakti, right? Srila Rupa Goswami writes in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu
an activity done for Krishna in the favorable mood of wanting to please him, and which is free from mixtures of selfish desires, qualifies as pure bhakti, right? And Sachidananda Maharaj gives the example. So, there might be a person like at the Bhakti Center in New York, lots of new people come and they get really affected by the sweetness of the kirtans and the atmosphere and the ambience. And so the next time they come, they bring flowers for Radha Muralidhar, right? And many of them do it after some time, they do it with like a real feeling of like, this place is like giving me nourishment, spiritual nourishment. I want to do something for this place. And they bring flowers with a pure heart. That is pure bhakti, right? They're not doing it to get attention, to get acknowledgement. They're simply doing it because they want to reciprocate. And these little acts of pure bhakti, Sachidananda Maharaj describes, they add up over time. And they are in our eternal bank account with Krishna, the bhakti account, right? Bhakti is eternal, that whatever we do as an offering to Krishna is never lost. Krishna tells Arjuna this in the 6th chapter, because Arjuna has this doubt. If I take up bhakti but I don't perfect it in this life, haven't I wasted my life? Neither have I got my material enjoyment, nor am I fully in bhakti, right? And Krishna says, no, wherever you finish off in this life, you'll start at that level in the next life. So it's to our eternal benefit. And these acts of pure bhakti. So when we hear that we should become a pure devotee, right? Prabhupada said in that purport earlier, it can seem very daunting. But what is not daunting is, for example, when we stand up and we want to offer the flowers to Radha Kalachandji, can we do it with no other intention but Krishna, Radharani, I want to offer this simply to please you. I don't have that much love in my heart yet, but please accept this and be happy with this offering, right? We can do it with simply that prayer that I want to do it only for you. That is pure bhakti, right? And that will take us step by step by step. It'll go, I see only one Marathi, well, a couple Marathi persons here. So I'll say it in Marathi and I'll translate, right? Thembe, thembe. Tare Satse, correct, thank you. Drop by drop, you can fill up a whole pond, right? So this is what this essay is talking about, that these acts of pure bhakti never get, demotivated or discouraged by how far you think Krishna is, because I'm so lowly or I'm so fallen, I have so many material desires. And they talk about pure bhakti to reach Krishna. Don't worry about that. Right? Be aware so that we're constantly trying to improve ourselves. But every moment when you're chanting japa, Krishna, can I chant this simply for your pleasure? When we're chanting kirtan, not because like, hey, is someone watching how beautifully I'm chanting? No, let me chant for Krishna's pleasure. And let me chant as sweetly as possible, right? So that the offering is suffused with love, with sweetness. So every step, we're making bhoga for Krishna at home. Krishna, please accept this, be happy. Let me try and do this for you with love. When we make that actual offering, do it with love. When we do the Pushpa offering, right, do it with that single focus that I want to please you, Krishna. And that will take us far. And so drop by drop, we can fill up the pond of pure bhakti, right? In other words, whenever we do something for Krishna to please him and we have no other intention, then in that moment we have acted with unalloyed bhakti. Right? And we talked about this, pure bhakti, these acts add up over time and are to our eternal credit. So let us strive to perform pure bhakti today and every day, every moment of our life. We can be at work and we can certainly, Radha Kalachandji, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, whoever, is our Ishtadev, Gornitai, right? We can remember, I love Radha Muralidhar. I've served them for 25 years in Manhattan. And so at work, I'm talking to my boss about like a new deal we're doing. And I'll suddenly remember Radha Muralidhar. Right? And I'm like, okay, I'm here in Indiana, but I'm doing something to please you or to think of you. Right? These are the steps that we can do even in our day-to-day life. So we don't have to feel like I have a life and then I have bhakti. No, bhakti is our life and everything else is a part of that. Yeah. So, any reflections, comments, questions, or are we out of time?
We have time.
Yeah.
You referred to
the fact that Krishna says that one cannot, the one who has made some advancement in devotional service, in bhakti, they don't fall back. It doesn't diminish. So there is another verse in the 9th chapter, I think before the one that you had referred, where he says, Kaunteya pratijani, name bhaktya pranashyati. So I often wonder, and I've forgotten what's there in the purport, but when Krishna is saying name bhaktya pranashyati, so what is he saying? Like, is he saying that this individual who has been performing devotional service will not be destroyed? But that's not true, because the
Devotees do die.
Yeah.
And they do suffer reverses.
So if you can, in the context of your talk, you can...
Sure. So when Krishna talks about protecting his devotees, those who have turned to him, he's talking about, remember in the beginning we talked about why perform bhakti? Isn't Krishna being selfish, asking us to do something for him, or be single-pointedly focused on him? And then we said, no, it's not, because that's making us happy. Krishna is happy on his own. He doesn't need our service. He doesn't need our food, doesn't need our money. He owns everything, right? But just as when you go to the Ganga, what do you do as an offering to Ganga? You take a palmful of water and you offer that palmful to Ganga. Now is Ganga thinking like, oh wow, this palmful that was offered by Shamsundar Prabhu was so fantastic. Now my water has swelled. No, that's her water, right? She owns it, but she's happy to the extent that we offer it with love, right? So similarly, when we offer to Krishna, and Krishna is talking about protection, the protection he's talking about is protecting the connection we have with him, protecting the feelings of wanting to serve him that we have. So that is what he protects. So I've seen, people who have turned to Krishna, even like once in their life, practiced bhakti for some years, and then circumstantially went away from bhakti. We've seen, in our years of 50 years of, Krishna conscious movement, we've seen that devotees have come and gone. But then you see that as they're dying, for example, some of the older Prabhupada disciples, right? They're dying. I actually know this from a friend of mine in Columbus, Ohio. She's a doctor in an emergency room. And she went to the emergency room, and the dying person there, he saw her kantimala. And he said, "Are you a devotee?" And she said, yes, because she wasn't sure, because he wasn't wearing a kantimala, right? And he said, "My name is so-and-so, but I went away from bhakti." And he says, "I'm dying now. And I was so afraid. I'm so regretful that I didn't pursue bhakti more. I went into rock and roll, drugs, and started drinking, and this and that." But his last couple of days, she and other devotees from Columbus were there with her, Lalita from Columbus. They were there with him as he passed. They were chanting kirtan. There was Prabhupada's chanting going on around him, and he departed from this body in full remembrance of Krishna, surrounded by that. That is protection. Not that, your body will be protected, because one day we have to die. So that's not protection. That answer your question?
Beautiful. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Well, I have a question. Would you mind talking? I mean, you said whatever we should do with as much love as we can muster. Can you tell us a little bit more about how do we develop love for the Lord? And how do we enhance that love over time?
Can be a class or seminar in itself. And you're actually more fully qualified to say it than I am, but you're asking for all our benefit. Did everyone hear the question? Yeah, how do we develop love for Krishna? So the acharyas, Srila Prabhupada is our preeminent acharya. He's our Shiksha Guru for everyone in ISKCON, instructing Guru. He has taught us the practice of sadhana bhakti, right? So just as baseball players, they have spring training camp in Miami or Tampa or wherever, right? Somewhere warm, not in the Northeast or in the Midwest. They have spring training camp there, and what do? They practice there, right? And then they come back and play the actual matches all over the country, right? So sadhana bhakti is where we take shelter of a guru. We take shelter of Prabhupada as the instructing guru, but then we need a living guru, someone who will give us diksha, eventually, or give us shelter. Well, under their instruction, we start the practice of Krishna consciousness. We start chanting Hare Krishna. We start simple steps, offering every day our food that we eat as much as possible. We try to eat prasad, right? Sometimes when we travel, it doesn't always work, right? But as much as we can, try to offer the food we try to come together regularly and we hear about Krishna. Because think about it, the world is assaulting us with all kinds of media, right? Whether it's TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or Fox News or CNN or MSNBC, whatever your preferred media are, right? They're assaulting us with all kinds of stories. And the purpose of these media is not to make us nice and peaceful. The purpose of this media is to agitate us, whether it's sexually or politically, right? The purpose of these things is to agitate us. And we forget about Krishna because if we just consume those media, we watch television, films, etc., we get completely bewildered by what's happening to our real purpose. And so we try to read Srila Prabhupada's books at least a few minutes a day. Prabhupada says in his Bhagavatam, it can seem very daunting, but he says this book is good to read in small installments daily, right? Small installments. He doesn't say read one whole canto every day or every, in a week. He says small installments every day. And just like we plug in our phones, would we ever leave home without a charger or without a full charge, right? We panic, right? I actually carry chargers with me, right? Because I'm like, oh my God, there's no one. My car has a charger, office has a charger, I have a portable charger with me, right? Prabhupada's books and these sanghas are chargers. And so we stay connected to devotees. We at least try to connect with devotees, even if we can't do it physically through, WhatsApp. Suddenly, Akash out of the blue will text me, and I feel so happy. I'm like, oh, Krishna's devotee is reaching out to me, right? Or Acharya will reach out to me, or Pandit Srivas, right? And so if they don't, then we reach out to them. And you share something about Krishna, and you make it a practice. Like, I find it very beneficial to talk about Krishna to one person a day, other than your partner, right? So, it can be something as simple as, hey, I went to Hare Krishna festival this weekend, right? On Monday, people ask me, what did you do? I said, I attended a 3-day Hare Krishna festival in Central New Jersey, right? So I'm not discussing philosophy in detail, but I'm remembering the kirtans that I attended for many hours, right? So this is how we stay connected and we make steps forward. That answer your question?
Thank you.
Thank you. Shradika.
Just to add to it, so spiritual education is very important for us to understand how to express our love, because we might have sentiment, but that sentiment is not mature yet. So that maturity to take place, we need to properly understand who is Krishna, what Krishna likes, what the processes of bhakti is appropriate for me to take, so I can actually with awareness and proper knowledge, I can offer. Then your bhakti will mature, and your affection will mature, to Krishna. I thought that's very important for us to have this education.
Thank
like
you.
You said,
Very
daily
vital.
reading, understanding the philosophy properly, because if there is just sentiment but not understanding the philosophy, that is whimsical. But when it's the philosophy combination with affection, then that is a mature offering of love to Krishna.
Okay. Beautiful. Thank you.
Understanding.
That's my wife. She always helps me complete what I lack.
Complete what you lack.
Correct. Krishna says
Preserve what you have.
Krishna says, right? So he can either do it personally or he can do it through your partner. So no, I didn't mean it sarcastically. I meant it really. Sorry, someone had a question or a comment? That it? Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, you had a question.
Is bhakti only love and affection, and is there different kinds of bhakti?
Bhakti is an offering of the self to the Supreme Lord. And Prabhupada translated it as devotional service. He didn't just say devotion. right? Because it's not just sentiment, there has to be concrete action, right? And that action is, the reading that we talked about. Prahlad Maharaj in Bhagavatam talks about 9 processes of bhakti. And they start with hearing and chanting about Krishna and remembering about Krishna every day, right? And there are 9 processes. We can do different types of bhakti, but the essential element is offering ourselves to Krishna, but following in the footsteps, as Sri Radhika mentioned, following in the footsteps of authorized acharyas, so that our bhakti can actually mature. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone? Last call.
Just to comment, so the point you mentioned about how what in that verse pure bhakti, like it's not referring to the practitioner, it's referring to the process and
Purity of the act.
purity of the act. So I mean, it's a good reminder because like with me it happens that you get stuck into that conscious mode that I'm so much far and I have so many anarthas abstract. But the practice, like simply the act of our focus should be not on that primarily, but on the act of having selflessly and for Krishna's glory. So that was a good reminder.
Yeah. Thank you. There's a picture that I showed. I'll come to you in a second. There's a picture that I use at work, and I don't have it readily available. I'm not connected to the internet. It's called the power of small steps. You can Google it later. You'll see a ladder. There are 2 people. One with, the first step is like at 5 feet. The second step is at 5 feet higher than that, right? And the person is like down below trying to figure out how do I get to that? These steps are too large. And then there is a ladder, like small steps, that high, 1 foot intervals. And you see the person is already at the top, right? So bhakti is like that. If we focus on, oh my God, I'm so far away from pure bhakti, we'll get discouraged. Anything in life, if you just focus on how far the goal is, we'll get discouraged. But if you break it down into steps, into small steps, and do them consistently, right? Same thing with exercise. You're working out. If you work out today and then 1.5 months later you work out, yeah, you'll get some benefit, but it won't be that much. But if you do a little every day, you'll be benefited. Yeah.
But you also, I think the comparison, you should not compare your bhakti with someone else.
Correct.
Because if you compare yourself with someone who is higher, advanced in bhakti, then you will feel like this is already. So I think that can demotivate you a little bit. So I think you should not be focusing on that. Just as you said, focus on your thing, see where you are, what is your environment around, and how much you can do. Like each time, how much can you commit to, and be disciplined about it. Like if you're committing to one thing, just focus on one thing until you are comfortable with it. Like now you're struggling with it, but after 6 months you're not struggling with it anymore. That means you're comfortable. Now you can move to the next greater commitment that you want to do in a company. So I think that might also help. Like it has helped me. Sorry, I'm just saying.
Yeah, and you hit an important point that bhakti is not about comparison. We're not competing with other people. We're competing with our own desires to not do bhakti, right? We're competing with our own material desires. So it's not like you see someone, and also bhakti is not performative, meaning it's not meant to show, oh, what a great class I gave, right? If that's my motivation, it's, what Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, the guru of Srila Prabhupada, says, the desire for prestige is like the stool of a wild boar. Wild boars are disgusting animals. Their stool is even more disgusting because they eat all kinds of stuff and then they excrete it, right? The desire for prestige or for someone to say what a great Niya you are, what a great speaker you are. If you're practicing that, you're practicing it for Radha Kalachandji's pleasure, not to show anyone what a great devotee I am, right? And so even, when you're asked to do something, flower decorations, for example, right? Or arati, right? The focus should be on Krishna, how am I pleasing you? Or how can I please you? And trying to do the best we can. Not to be the best, but to do the best I can. Right? So that's the comparison point. So you had a question?
Probably you said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was form of Lord Krishna, in the Jiva form of Bhakti. I mean, can you say the same thing about the Radha also? She's the Krishna herself and doing the, as the form of and doing the devotion to Lord Krishna herself to same person.
Right. So the scriptures tell us that never was there a time when Radha and Krishna were different or separate, because Radha expanded from Krishna. But there also was never a time when they were one, in the sense it's very mystical. Like you think of everything is chronological in our life, right? In the material world, that first is the father, then is the child, right? But Krishna was there, and then he expanded as Radharani, right? Because you cannot exchange love with yourself, so you need another person. So does that mean that Radharani came later? No, because in the spiritual world, these chronological things don't mean anything. They were always eternally separate, but they're also one in purpose, one in heart, right? So when we talk about oneness in bhakti, it's not oneness as in we lose our individuality, it's oneness of purpose. Like I want to serve Krishna, and in that aspect, whatever he wants, I want. That is oneness. And so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he came in the mood of Radha, because Radha is the topmost devotee of Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not a jiva like we are. He's the Supreme Lord, right? So he's not a jiva tattva, he's Vishnu tattva, right? So he's the Supreme Lord. There are many, scriptural references that show that and prove that. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah. I think that's it. Okay, well, thank you so much for your attention and your kind questions and comments. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Radha Kalachan ji ki
Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you for explaining what should be the proper mindset, the flowers, food, so we can improve our bhakti. So thank you very much. So we would like to thank Prabhuji by chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So now we'll have a Pushpa Abhishek. But before that, we would like to acknowledge all the devotees who did this wonderful decoration, who prepared food has become prasad for everyone. So thank you very much. There are a few devotees who came early at 3 p.m. and they have done all this beautiful decoration. So thank you very much. So we'll chant one mantra for them as well. So here the devotees. So today's sponsors, we have Shyama Karuna Mataji, Pankaj Gupta Prabhu, Himanshu Prabhu, and Aparna Mataji. Thank you very much. Then these are the devotees who prepared food for the event. There are more devotees as well. Maybe we forgot to add the names because I have seen like few more devotees who got the prasad. So this is the list: Sri Vidya Mataji, Amrita Nandini Mataji, Aparna Mataji, Nimisha Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Karuna Mataji. The list is long. So then we have decoration. So the flower decoration we are seeing. So these are the devotees who prepared the gardens, who helped to decorate this wonderful structure we can see. So these are the devotees we would like to acknowledge. So thank you very much for your services. So we'll chant Hare Krishna mantra for all these devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So is anybody who is joining us for the first time? Who is first time for here? I know there's one devotee, but apart from that devotee, okay. What's your name, Mataji? Sri Lakshmi Mataji. Thank you for joining, Mataji. So we hold this program every Saturday. We come together, we chant, we discuss about Bhagavad Gita, and then we have a prasad. So please join. You can have more information from Priyanka Mataji or Karuna Mataji. And thank you. Is anybody else? Hare Krishna Mataji. What's your name? Gunjan Mataji. Where are you from, Mataji? Oh, that's good. So, do you like the program? Like what is going on?
Yeah.
So please keep joining us, and
please call your friends and family, and please try to participate every single week.
WhatsApp.
Yeah, and we have a WhatsApp group as well. You can contact Priyanka Mataji, Karuna Mataji for more information. We can discuss during Prashadam. Thank you. Anybody else? Mataji, what's your name, Mataji? Pushpa Mataji.
Oh, appropriate.
Yeah. So we are celebrating Pushpa Abhishek. So there will be flowers offered by Pushpa Mataji. So thank you, Mataji. So we chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Before that, we have one more new devotee, the daughter of Raju Prabhu.
Haribo.
So the youngest devotee. Yeah, it's the youngest devotee in our congregation. Her name is Janvi. So welcome, Janvi Mataji. So we'll chant Hare Krishna mantra for her blissful and wonderful Krishna conscious life. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. One more last announcement. We have His Grace Pandit Srivas Prabhu. He got back from after 4 weeks or 5 weeks. So thank you, Prabhuji. It's very good to see you. You may feel it's unnecessary, but for us, you are like an inspiration. So thank you. It's really good to see you. Hare Krishna.
He's our leader. So
Yeah. So Prabhuji will guide us how we're going to proceed further. So Hare Krishna.
I can take this. If I can get this out. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. All right. So a few announcements before we get into this. Acharya Prabhu and all, can you make the space over here for the Abhishek? Get the table and then we'll get the DTs and we'll get situated. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to do Achaman real quick. So I was actually gone for 3.5 weeks, bro. So your calculation was. So really, he wants me to go away for 2 more weeks. But when I was there, there is something I got for everyone. Give me 1 minute. Yeah. So I'll pass this around. So we got some prasadam from Jagannath Puri, from Tota Gopinath, as well as from Sakshi Gopinath and Vrindavan. They're all over there. It's not a lot, but it'll be enough. A little bit everybody can get. So at the end of your line for prasadam, when we serve it, also Shishi Radha Parsati temple in Delhi. So that's there. And then I'll pass this around, and this has some amazing things. So there is this bowl over here, and it has some mitti, I don't know, dust. And this is dust from Rajdhan. This is dust from Vrindavan. So, and this is not just dust from like just street of Vrindavan. When you do this, Prabhu, can you cover the details, please? Thank you. So this is, if you go to Krishna Balaram temple, there is this beautiful tamal tree right in the courtyard of the temple. And this is the dust from the root of the tree. So when I pass this around, if you wish to, you can take just a pinch of this dust and apply it on your forehead. Okay? And then this, Prabhu, you mentioned Lord Jagannath. This is a thread from the chadar of Lord Jagannath and Jagannath. So you can touch this to your head. And then there was this small flower which got mixed with the dust, but it's still flower. This is flower from the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada in Vrindavan. So I will pass this around so everybody can benefit from here. So, and then you can, take some and then pass it around and so on. And then while that is happening, I'll quickly explain how we will perform the Abhishek. So there's tons of flowers, so don't worry about that. So what we'll do is we'll keep some flowers over here, and people can line up one by one, and while Kirtan is going on, take some achaman, wash your hands, and then take some flower petals and offer it to the deities over here. And once that is done, we will take more flowers and then offer them to the deities. And then we'll still have at least 5-6 buckets of flowers left over, which we will pass on to everyone. And at that point of time, we can, that's your favorite part? Okay. So at that time, we can, use those flowers on each other. We can offer flowers to each other. Okay? All right, so you are going to help us with the asana. So come over here. This is wonderful. So everybody can start lining up over here. And Akash Prabhu, are you going to be doing the kirtan or whoever? Okay, yeah. Please go ahead. Acharya, you can be with me.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
We need to change?
No. All right. As soon as Kirtan starts, so we will first offer so that everybody can get an
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Vishnadarini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srinivasa Gaura Bhakta Vedanta
Pushpa Abhishek Mahotsav ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you everyone. Hare Krishna. So
Yeah, so we have now stand-up party, so everybody can stand up and then we get into it. I got this. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Everybody just focus on the aarti, please. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, very nice. All together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All the Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, One more time, louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. One last time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare
His divine grace, Abhay Shanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki. ISKCON Devotee Founder Acharya Savior of the whole world, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Jai Krishna Pada Paramahamsa Parikaraja Acharya Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada ki. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki. Ramacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Giriraj Govardhan ki. Raja Bhumi Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Maya Pradhan ki jai. Purushottam Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Ganga Mai Yamuna Mai ki jai. Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi ki jai. Kaliuga Pavan Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Pushpa Abhishek Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Jai Gaura Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga.
Now we'll have a sit down Nashingadev prayers and then we'll have Prashad. We'll wait for Prashad. So kids, somebody wants to sing Nashingadev prayers? You want to sing Nashingadev prayers? If you want to, quickly. Prahlad. Thank you so much, Dwayne. All right, we'll do Prashadam prayers and then we'll line up for Prashadam. But I know earlier on we did can you pull up the list of so I still again wanted to recognize all our donors and volunteers without whom this festival would not have been possible. If you also want to volunteer for upcoming events, we have a volunteer group within our WhatsApp community, so you can join, or you can touch base with Acharya. Acharya is over here, Acharya Prabhu. So and Acharya Prabhu will add you to that group as well. Okay. So I just wanted to quickly recognize our volunteers. Her Grace Shama Karuna Mataji, Pankaj Gupta Prabhu, and Mataji has been exceedingly helpful during the decoration as well. And then Himanshu Prabhu and Aparna Mataji. Okay, Nimisha Mataji, where's Nimisha Mataji? I thought I just saw her like a minute ago. Okay. Is she there? Oh, there you are. Okay, you're the pillar in between. All right. So thank you so much, all of you, all the sponsors who helped us. Please let us recognize the sponsors by chanting Hari Bol 3 times. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And then the list of volunteers that we have. Also, these are the Prasadam volunteers. Shividya Mataji. Shividya Mataji, did she do the coordination? Or who did the coordination this time? She did? Where's Shividya Mataji? Okay, this is fantastic. You've been doing an incredible job on the coordination of the Prasadam. We have almost like, I think 53 items or something like that, many of which are invisible. But we certainly have quite a few items. Okay, so Shividya Mataji, Amrita Nandini Mataji, Aparna Mataji, Nimisha Mataji, Priyanka Mataji, Karuna Mataji, Sunita Mataji, Priyambada Mataji, Chinta Acharya Mataji. My God, so many Matajis. And thankfully, there is one Prabhu out here. So who's kind of like helped out a little bit. All right, so a big Hari Bol to all our Prasadam volunteers. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And then the last thing, this requires so much of effort. I cannot even tell you. Like, it's not just like effort over today, it's effort over several days. Just conceiving this and then making it, going to the store, buying different kinds of things, and then putting them together, getting all the people together, and so on. So this was this whole arch which you see over here was the brainchild of Sirisha Mataji. Where's Sirisha Mataji? Oh, there she is. So big Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. And this is not just the first time that she's doing it. For all our major festivals, so Janmashtami and all, you see such wonderful, beautiful decorations. So this, we are almost at the end of our cold season and start of our festival season. Next month is going to be God Purnima festival. Then probably just a little bit later will be one festival after another, Ram Navami and so on and so forth. Okay, there's Nrsimhadev Chaturdashi, and then Bharat Jayanti, Janmashtami, Radhashtami, and so on. And then you get into Kartik, and then there's a festival every day. So this requires just the quality of it, the decoration of it. It requires a lot of effort. Did I just step on that? I'm sorry about that. Okay. So it requires a ton of effort. So please, if you wish to be part of the team, then again, touch base with Acharya Prabhu. He's going to add you to the team, and this will be very helpful. So Amrita Nandini Mataji again, Aparna Mataji was the one who stitched this together with direction from Sirisha Mataji.
Then Nimisha Mataji, she was always like taking the flowers and putting all the petals around, and then getting a lot of the other stuff, putting a lot of the decorations over here that you see. Priyanka Mataji, Sunita Mataji, Ram Yadav Prabhu, Jagannath Prabhu, Pandit Shivas, Acharya Prabhu, Akash, Vidmai, and Loknath. Vidmai and Loknath were so interested in doing this and so enthusiastic. They just got like 2 or 3 buckets and about 10, 15 of these bouquets, and they just started taking all the petals out. Okay. So again, a big Haribol to all the volunteers. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. I think that's about it. So let's quickly do our prasadam prayers and then get into the main part, well, one of the major parts of the event. Okay? Mahaprasade Govinde, Nama Brahmani Vaishnave, Shalpapunya Vatam Rajan, Vishwash Naiva Jayate, Sharira Pitaja, Jodindriya Taheta, Jive Kare Vishaya Shagure, Charamade Kibarati, Lobamay Shudamati, Take Jeta Totino Shankare, Krishna Varadayamay, Gori Bare Jivajan, Shaprashadam Dino Bhai, Shayana Mritapa, Radha Krishna Monoga, Preme Dakoshi Chaitanya Nita, Janima Janita, Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radha Kavachan Mahamahotsav, Pushpa Mahamahotsav, Mahaprashadam ki Jai. Okay, let's line up for the This will be fun cleaning up today. That will be the real fun. Hare Krishna.